Yo. What's good, everybody? What's good, everybody? Welcome to the latest edition of the MOP podcast, the Mario Berandi podcast. Obviously, I'm your host, Mario. And today we got the great Tori Phillips from Girls Who Like Hoops. And it's her second time being here. So you're obviously part of the family. So once again, thanks for being here. But first, I got to ask you, how are you doing?
Thank you for having me. First of all, sharing your platform. I really appreciate it. I'm doing great, honestly. I have to lock in on my basketball content because I'm slipping a little bit. But I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great as well. Sadly, the Indiana Fever got eliminated, but we are not going to be talking about them on today's episode. We already talked. I mean, I already talked about Caitlin Clark a lot. So I gotta take a little bit of rest, and the audience need to take a little bit of rest of that main, player. But we're gonna be previewing here with Tori the WNBA playoffs, the semifinals. My bad, the semifinals. The Las Vegas Aces going against the New York Liberty. It's a rematch from last year finals. Sabrina going against Chelsea Gray, AJ Wilson going against Brianna Stewart. Then we got on the other side of the bracket, we got the Minnesota Lynx. That's Tori's team, right?
It is, yeah. I like the Aces too, but I'm right now. I'm really between the two.
Yeah. And try to remember. Let not allow me to forget the video that you did about the Las Vegas Aces when they were struggling. You were saying like, Becky, it's time to get into the but I don't remember the other part. What was you saying on your
I
TikTok when you was a little bit agitated, when the Las Vegas Aces were struggling.
I was really struggling. I think Becky just needed to get it together, really clean it up. But you know what? I think that she got it together. Like her
Yeah.
and the team have really come through, and I'm ready to see a three-peat. Honestly, people were wavering. Not me though.
And they are on a 8 game winning streak, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna be talking about that. Obviously, you do a great work. So if you haven't subscribed or checked her podcast, go to her YouTube channel. It's Tori Phillips, obviously from the Girls Who Like Hoops. So damn, I forgot the Minnesota Lynx. We got on the other side of the bracket. We got the Minnesota Lynx going against the Connecticut Sun. I think the Connecticut Sun is their sixth straight year getting into the semifinals, so they already got a lot of experience. Alyssa Thomas and Dewana Boner. They got Marina Mabry. They got the most improved player, Dejonae Carrington. So that's gonna be a great series as well. But let me ask you this, so we can start the preview of the semifinals. How satisfying was for you to cover this season? That the Minnesota Lynx had. They last year they won 20 games. This year they won 30. Obviously, we saw that Nafisa Collier got Defensive Player of the Year. So, how satisfying was for you to cover the team this season?
It's been really cool, honestly. I think I've like always kind of like watched the WNBA, but like not like been like as locked in as I have been this season, and like at least like what it takes to like make a podcast and like talk about every single game and everything. So it's been really cool to cover them, but also just kind of because at the beginning of the season I was kind of drinking the Kool-Aid on like, oh, they're like not fun to watch, like they're boring. And like as I like kind of watched them play, like I think by like their second or third game, like I was kind of like, oh, like they're
Into
good.
something.
Like this is fun. And I kind of just like really just love the system that they have. And it's just been really fun and great to kind of see like these players that you don't necessarily hear a ton about like
Yep.
individually per se, but like to see them be able to play together as a team and for that to be like the most important thing for them. And honestly, to like for them to see them like win for their coach and everything, and kind of, Maya Moore's like jersey went up in the rafters a couple weeks ago, and it's like been really cool to kind of just see them like, I don't know, just kind of take that like winning energy and like that championship energy that Maya and like all of the greats before them had, and like trying to make that happen here. It's been really cool.
Yeah, and we even saw like a different part of Nafisa Collier's personality. That maybe us as new fans, we haven't seen that when she said in the post game conference, in game two, after game one, my bad, against the Phoenix Mercury, she said, "Oh, hopefully we can end Diana Taurasi's career on Wednesday." I think you have to have balls in the good sense of the
Mhm.
word. You have to be very confident in your game or in your team, to say something like that to go against the GOAT Diana Taurasi. What do you think? What have you seen throughout this season, especially for Nafisa Collier? Obviously, she won Defensive Player of the Year. Coach Reeve, who caught a lot of flag, with the whole Caitlin Clark situation, not going to
Mhm.
the Olympics and shit. She won Coach of the Year. Alana Smith, she made the all WNBA second team as well. So, what have you seen from Fee throughout this season?
I think I've just like I feel like there's always like that thing of like knowing that like a player has the potential to be great. It's just kind of like about them kind of taking that next step and that next leap of like, okay, like I'm here and I'm going to do what I need to do to get my team to win. Like for us to succeed, whatever I need to do, I'm going to do that. And I've really loved seeing that from her. And not only that, but also just like the way that I think she really just wants her teammates to get involved as well. Like she doesn't need it to always like be about her. Like she knows if like somebody else is hot, if somebody else is cooking, like she gives them like their props on that, and it just feels like it just always feels like a really great team like atmosphere and culture that's being run there,
The
and I think
vibes,
that
right?
she's definitely a big part of that.
Yeah, the vibes are always very high. The team plays a beautiful brand of basketball. They move the ball a lot. I think if I'm not mistaken, they led the WNBA this season in assists. So we're gonna be getting
Mhm.
into that as well. So they move the ball a lot. They play like a five-out offense. Alana Smith can shoot the three. Obviously, they got McBride. They got another shooter as well. Carton, yeah, Bridget Colton. So it's very fun to watch them, and obviously Nafisa Collier, what she has been doing is obviously I think this is like a softball question for you, but has she been the best player doing this during this playoff so far?
Um, that is so tough. I feel
Really?
like yeah, I know the stats are telling me
Yeah,
absolutely
40.
yes.
Averaging 40 is like crazy.
It is crazy. Like I think I want to kind of like wait to give like a full answer on that just to like
Maybe it's too
but
early, right? Maybe it's too early.
yeah, but it's just like she has done like something that like only one other person has done or like two other people have done. Or really yeah, two people have scored 41 points in a playoff game, but her
Brianna
and
and
Maya
and
Moore,
who?
something about averaging
Oh,
40.
Maya Moore.
But like just to see that has been really cool. So like I guess I'm gonna say yeah, she's been the best so far. But I think that she's gonna keep it up, and I'm really excited to see like what happens, especially with the game against the Sun today, because that's a tough like they're very evenly matched defensively. So I know it's gonna be like mostly like who can get their offense going and get stops and all that stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I was trying to find the last player who averaged 40 points per game in a WNBA playoff series, but I couldn't find it. But I haven't seen it. Obviously, have you? A
I don't
player
think
averaging
so.
40 in a playoff series?
I don't think
Because
so.
like only 5 to 6 players in the NBA have averaged 40 in a playoff series. Obviously, Michael Jordan, Rick Barry, who else? I don't remember. But it's I think maybe and that's something rare. It's like if she's the only one that averaged 40 in a playoff game, why they are not saying it? But that's another topic for another day.
Mhm.
So it's a great brand of basketball that the Minnesota Lynx play. The coach, Cheryl Reeve, is incredible. She's so smart, and I like her style. I like her style a little bit, more than Becky Hammond. Becky Hammond sometimes gets, for lack of a better word, too emotional, and she's going crazy. Like Kelsey Plum going crazy asking for fouls. We're gonna be talking about the Las Vegas Aces later, but they are an amazing team. Let me ask you. I needed to ask you about this topic. I don't know if you have shared your opinion about this, but what are your thoughts about, Alyssa Thomas saying that she hasn't seen throughout her 11-year career, the vitriol and the dumb things that, or stupid things that some people, because that's important. Some people, some Indiana fans, I try to make the distinction right there, because the same with Renee Montgomery, with the whole incident, quote unquote, between the reporter and DNA Carrington, because there's a lot of people that say Indiana Fever fans, and that's bullshit.
Mhm.
It's some Indiana fans, and I try to correct that or make an emphasis in that. Obviously, a lot of fans talk shit about the WNBA. It happens, all across sports. But what do you think about maybe the spotlight, or you can go further in that topic? But what do you think about all these comments that the players have made towards, especially Caitlin Clark fans, or maybe
Mhm.
some Caitlin Clark fans and some Indiana Fever fans? What do you think about that?
I think it's a very, like, hard conversation to have, I think,
I
because
agree.
there is, like, so much, like, that goes into it, like, like, there's a lot of, like, specifics and everything. I think, like, first of all, I do definitely wanna say that, like, what these players have been going through and, like, the messages they've been receiving, like, from email, like, tweets, in their DMs, like, is absolutely insane, and honestly, like, I think like the WNBA should have said something about that way before now, because this has been something that they've been going through like the entirety of the season. And also at the same time, like, I think it really just kind of goes to, like, show, like, where we are kind of as a society for, like, somebody to really go through, like, out of their day and, like, really, like, it takes a lot to send an email. Like, you have to, like, type in the email. You have to find the person the email, first of all, because their emails aren't that public. So you have to find their email. Then you have to go and put in the little title, or like not the title but like the little heading at the top, and then you have to go and put in like the message, and it's just like, for somebody to go through all of that trouble to like send hate towards somebody, it's really disturbing, and it makes me like really sad that that's where, like, that's what's being focused on right now by, like, the media in some instances, and that's kind of, like, the thing that they're driving towards, that kind of, like, controversy, instead of, like, focusing on the basketball, or focusing on what a lot of these players are doing and, like, their accolades and their awards and stuff like that. And so, like, when it comes to, like, that reporter asking that question, like, it sucks that that question was what was asked instead of something else, like, actually pertaining to, like, basketball, because if I recall correctly, Caitlin had already kind of like been like, it was a basketball play. Like, it doesn't really need to be discussed like that far in depth. Like, it doesn't really need to be brought up. And so it's that. And then it's also like the discourse that happens online, like on Twitter, with people going back and forth about, oh, it was this. And when you slow stuff down, of course, it's always going to look worse than what it was and can be taken out of context. And if you put two clips together that are like 5 minutes apart of somebody high-fiving and laughing, it could be like like construed as something else. And so I think it's just like a really unfortunate situation. I just honestly wish that it had been handled better from like everyone, honestly. Like, I wish that the WNBA, the commissioner especially, had like gone out and openly like denounced that early on, instead of like kind of letting it get to this point, because I think that now that it's been able to get to this point, it's kind of made it worse, because like, like once something starts and like a pattern of
It's
behavior
like
is
a
already
snowball
set,
effect, right?
yeah, like it's going to be impossible to stop now.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, I just hate it for them, honestly.
Yeah, and the same thing that you said, it was said by Stephanie White post game. She said the same thing. So, she said, it's we can blame us as part of the media, for focusing on that, for pushing that agenda, but throughout this year, I first like it first caught my attention when I heard who it was. Oh, Lynn Dunn, the general manager for the Fever. She said, "Oh, it was very surprising to me because she said I already knew that Caitlin was going to be great and different things, but she said what the thing that surprised me is it was about the vitriol of the Caitlin Clark fans, about the whole Olympic Committee selection and everything. But it's like, and then who else said it? The Chicago Sky. They created like using like an AI. They created like an app or something to go against like hate speech on Twitter, and then then the AT comment, and everything. And as you said, Caitlin already talked about that, but it has been very unfortunate, like you said, to not talk about the game, to not talk about what happens between the lines, and talk more about what happens on social media. But like you said at the beginning, it's difficult topic, but at least they already got this year as experience, so
Mhm.
hopefully we can see some progress next year. Let me ask you this, just your opinion about the timeouts, because criticized has been hugely criticized this year about not taking timeouts and shit. What's your opinion, or your like main takeaway with timeouts?
I think for coaches, especially because I've heard like some other coaches kind of talk about like it kind of takes some time to kind of find the rhythm of when to call a timeout and when not to, and like when to just let them play and when to be like, okay, okay, let's stop the bleeding on this and let's like see if we can cool down the other team shooting their offense or whatever. And let's just take a little break and we go back to the drawing board. I think it's like I said, it's just a tough thing for like a coach to learn. I think you definitely just need time to figure that out. And especially because like this is Christy's first year like playing with Caitlin. I think that also plays a role as well. So like maybe last year she had kind of maybe a little deal on it, but it's like, oh, now we have Caitlin who could sit there and like hit three threes in a row and we'd be back in the game. So it's like I think it's a lot about like figuring out like just like what your players need when they need it, like when to do things in the flow of the game as well. I definitely think Christy has gotten like a lot of pushback this year. And maybe at the beginning I was on the train with the people, but I think like as the season's gone on, like I mean, at the end of the day, for them to make the playoffs like in the first place is really great. And then also like it's been like a really big learning curve for her. Like at the first half of the season was pretty rough. They came back
Yeah,
after the Olympics and like it felt like they just really took off and started soaring. So it's really tough for me to be like too critical of her because at the same time, like she's just learning stuff as she's going as well. And there's only so much that you can learn, like being an assistant coach somewhere, or like, like maybe not being particularly like coaching a WNBA team or something. So to me, I think that people have to calm down a little bit. They have to calm down.
definitely. Yeah, to me, it has been way overblown. The fact that they criticize her for the timeouts. Obviously I'm exaggerating, but the Indiana Fever, if they would have 1 million timeouts, they would have still lost to the Connecticut Sun, and that's something that I wanted to say. I don't know why folks, mainly Indiana, and on the whole YouTube thing, I can call them out. I can call all them out who make content about the Indiana Fever. How in the hell are you gonna pick the Indiana Fever against the Connecticut Sun? I don't understand it. I don't understand. I said the Connecticut Sun in 3, but I don't understand how a lot of people pick the Indiana Fever over the Connecticut Sun. But that's a topic for another day. Let's go into the playoffs. I really, really appreciate. Obviously, this is my first year as a WNBA fan. With the Fever, I really, really, really like the fact that the WNBA doesn't have play-in tournament. Hopefully, they will. Hopefully, they never implement the play-in tournament. And I really like the fact that in the playoffs, the best records they go into the playoffs. It's not about like the NBA Western Conference, Eastern Conference, and you got 1 through 8 and shit. The playoff format for the WNBA is perfect, and hopefully they'll never implement the play-in tournament. What do you think about my little rant?
I agree with you, honestly. I think well, at first, I liked it. I liked the NBA's little I liked their little play-in. I was like, okay, this is kind of fun. But it's kind of like I think, especially last year, once we saw like those injuries to I think Zion got injured during the
Oh yeah,
play-in
yeah, yeah.
tournament. And I
And he
was
was
kind of
balling.
like, because I think that they were like that last seed that would have gotten into the playoffs had they not had the play in or something. And I was kind of like, this like really ruined their chances, because if the playoff didn't exist, like if the play in didn't exist, then he would have been healthy to go and play, and maybe they would have been able to do something in the playoffs. I can't promise that they would have won anything, probably not. But it was just like, I feel like the play in is just like adding like a little too much extra onto it. And then on top of that, I think also the fact that it's going to be very rare that like a team that wins the play in is going to be winning a championship.
Yeah,
Like, and so I think that that part for me is kind of where I'm like, I it's not that enjoyable. Like, it's like super competitive because it is like, oh, that one game. You get one chance to like make it happen. But it's just like, I think there's just too much, because there's already too many games being played anyways.
yeah.
Like 82 games is crazy on the body. But it's just like that extra for maybe somebody who's probably gonna get kicked out of like the first round. I just find it a little ridiculous.
Yeah, and they also play. They also implemented the in-season tournament last year, and the Lakers and the Pacers played one more game as well. I think the WNBA next year there's gonna be 44 games in the regular season, right?
I believe so. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't even
44 or
looked at the
42, I
amount.
don't know, but I
I
was
haven't
I
even looked
was
at how many they're adding.
yeah, I think it's 42. I mean 44, but it's great. It's great. It's great. So let's get into our preview. We took a lot of time, but which series do you want to go first? I don't mind. So
Um, we can do Aces versus Liberty. Save the best for last.
oh yeah. Asus Liberty. So that's gonna be our first one, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So Liberty Aces. I got New York number one offense, number three defense, if I'm not mistaken. Las
I
Vegas
believe.
Aces number two offense, number five defense. So we got firepower all over the place right here. What first comes to your mind when I say the phrase Las Vegas Aces against New York Liberty?
I
Rivalry, revenge,
Yes, absolutely. Rivalry and revenge are definitely the two things that come to mind. I think
payback,
also,
payback time for
yeah,
the
yeah,
Liberty, maybe.
maybe payback. I think what's interesting about the Liberty though is that like, I think over the past like maybe 2 or 3 weeks, even though I haven't made a podcast about it, the Liberty have looked very like human in a way. Like, they've kind of lost some games that I thought they were going to win. And so I think if the Aces maybe capitalize on those things that those teams that beat them did, they might be able to stay in the game. I'm a little concerned about how the Liberty gets out at the beginning of games though, because like I think like their first and third quarters are their best or something
Very
like that.
slow, missing
And I'm just
shots.
and the Aces definitely start off slow, and then like they
Yeah,
usually have to come back, and so I hope they don't like dig the hole too deep.
yeah, that's a great point. Obviously, I forgot to mention that Aja Wilson will not be playing in the unrivaled league, if I'm not mistaken. She said that that this morning. But yeah, for me, when I the first thing that comes to my mind is like payback. I'm not obviously a fan of the Las Vegas Aces, but they are, to me, the we was talking off the air, the whole whining and crying and calling out the refs.
Mhm.
That's something. The whole Becky Hammond with the Erika Hamby situation when they were booing the Erika Hamby. Kelsey Plum can lose her mind going to the rim asking for a foul. Aja Wilson, whining and crying for fouls. I don't like players who do that. And Caitlin is getting there. I mean, I'm gonna still rock with her, but I'm gonna call her out, crying to the refs. The same with Luka and LeBron and all the players. Um, but I think that this is the Liberty year. I think this is the Liberty's year. I really like the fact that now they put Fivic on the starting lineup. The rookie, she got experience. She played overseas. I think it's in Spain. She won a couple of MVPs there, if I'm not mistaken. So I really like this matchup. But let's go. Another thing that came to my mind is Brianna Stewart. If I got the data here. I think during the whole playoffs last year, she shot 35.8% from the field and 19.6% from the 3-point line. And those percentages were even worse in the finals against the Las Vegas Aces. Obviously, I was doing my prep for this live with you. A lot of people were mentioning the work that Alicia Clark was doing with Stewie. What do you make about these percentages of Stewie? If she has the same percentages, can the Liberty win, or she
I
needs to step
think
up?
they can win if she has those
Wow. Oh,
percentages.
because she plays defense at a
Yes, but
high level,
also
at
because
a
I
high
think
level.
yes, but also because I think Sabrina has definitely taken like
Oh,
a leap
great
in terms
point.
of like if Stewie doesn't like if she's struggling a little bit, like I think Sabrina will be able to like help. But the only thing is though, if they're able to lock down Sabrina, if Jackie Young or Kelsey Plum are able to play some really great defense on Sabrina and make it really tough for her, or even like if they have somebody come off the bench like Tiffany Hayes or Sydney Colson, I think it's definitely going to be tough for them. So Brianna has to play well, and so does John Quell. Like if one the two of the four, or really two of the three, have to be playing well. Leona Phoebus, I feel like she's gonna show up and shoot all the time, but it's really just about like everybody else like really showing up for their role and what they need to do. But I think if anything this season we've seen that like they're capable of doing that regardless of like whatever's going on. So I'm interested to see how the Aces like kind of respond to like that first quarter. Like, are they going to come out swinging and playing really tough defense, or are they kind of going to dig a hole like they typically do sometimes?
Yeah, and obviously we have to mention that the Liberty got home court advantage. So in a potential 5-game series, they're gonna have 3 games at home in the Barclays Center. There's obviously a great fan base there, and obviously always supporting the team. And that's obviously another question that I got for you: how the New York Liberty can continuously evolve, or you know what I'm saying, continuously evolve Jonquel Jones on offense, because I've heard some I think who it was, I don't remember from the Dunkers podcast. He was saying the record of the New York Liberty when Jonquel Jones get a double double or gets 10 points. How can they get her
I
evolve
think
throughout the offense
I think it definitely starts early. Like you have to kind of get her
in the
going
post?
early. I don't think you want to, yes. And then, or maybe because she can stretch the floor. I think it really
Oh,
just
yeah, yeah.
depends. I think, but I would like to see it happen in the post first, then slowly work her way out. And I would really like to see them maybe not rely so much on the three at the beginning. Like they have some very talented post players. So I would like to see them do that, get to mid range. I'd like to see Sabrina driving the paint at first and maybe like not just start like chucking up threes. It's fine. If you make them, that's cool. But like I would like to see like a nice build up. Let's start from the two and work our way back.
I agree. And she was saying that she said that against the Dream, that she was trying to get into the paint, collapsing the defense, then we can pass the ball to the open player. That's a great point. Let me ask you this. Obviously, this is a troll question for me or whatever. How much the Las Vegas Aces will call out the ref during this series? Because
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm
because
I'm biased because I really like the
don't
Aces.
worry,
I'm
don't
actually
worry.
a
We
Liberty
we
hater.
we
I'm
appreciate
a
that. We
Liberty
appreciate
hater,
that.
certified hater. So I'm okay with a little call out on the rest. I'm okay with a little hey, did you see that? She
just a
punched
touch,
my
just a
neck.
bit.
Did you see it? I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
Yeah, because I think Kelsey Plum was saying that the refs are not being fair to them. Then Aja was saying the same thing. I think Becky Hammer was saying the same thing. So um, we'll see. We'll see. Then I got this topic as well, like the factor for the Las Vegas Aces or managing their frustrations. Like I was saying, Kelsey Plum, when And that's something that surprised me a lot. The fact that she can get quote unquote easily into the paint. She was driving a lot. I was watching I think it was the second game between the Liberty and the Aces when they were fully healthy, and she was driving, but she was complaining as well. Aja obviously that Becky Hammond can go crazy anytime, anywhere. So how what do you think about that factor of managing frustration that is
I
related with calling out the
I
refs
think that's
and everything?
valid. That's so valid of you to point that out, honestly. I think staying poised is always going to be like a very big like part of the game because I mean like if you get like angry and upset then it's like you're not thinking about like being on for the next play. Sometimes I think it is easy to get kind of wrapped up in like the emotions of like the play cuz you want to win, right? So you're like I want my points, like I want like I was clearly hit here, everything. And I will say before I continue, the refs have been pretty inconsistent this season. I will say that.
Definitely. Yeah,
And
and that's an understatement. That's an understatement.
right. But even regardless of that, like so much about it is poise. And I think like that's something that kind of bothered me a lot about like the Phoenix Mercury. Like I like that team, but it's like you guys are giving away like so many like points, like just because you're getting texts and because you're not staying poised, you gotta just stay locked in for the next play. And like that's how you win at the end of the day. Like if you're over there giving up like 5 to like 8, 10 points a game because of text, what are we really doing? Like you're not possibly going to win the game. Like you'd have to be really great to not lose the game in that scenario. So I think for the Aces, like yes, and really for the Liberty and everyone in the playoffs, I think it really just comes down to like being like, okay, I need to stay ready, be able to stay in the game, not get any texts. Like I need to stay calm, level headed. We need to win the game.
Facts. I agree. I agree 100%. I got some facts right here as well. The Liberty. I think the Liberty was the only team in the regular season that made at least 10 threes per game, and during the regular season. Then I think in the previous series against the Atlanta Dream, if I'm not mistaken, in one, I don't know, I got it here. Only Fivic and yeah, in that series, only Fivic and Sabrina made more than 1 3. You know, that caught my eye as well. I got another one right here. I got Las Vegas Aces. I think they only won one game at New York in the last 2 seasons. Game 4 last year, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, that was a great game, honestly.
Yeah, it came down to the buzzer, and they lost. I got another here too. Oh, the in clutch stats in the regular season, Liberty was number 1 in win percentage. They shot 48% from the field. Las Vegas was number 1 in 3-point percentage and free throw percentage in during the clutch during the regular season. What else? What else do I got? Oh, Liberty, second best team in defensive rebound this regular season. Liberty second overall in rebounds. Aces, less. Oh, the Las Vegas Aces, the least turnovers this regular season. So that's gonna be another thing. Hopefully, the Liberty can get more forts, more turnovers, and steals and different things. What else? The Liberty, number 1 in field goal, less than 5 feet. They are killing it in that area, less than 5 feet. The Aces were number 1 in field goal from 5 to 9 feet. What else? I think that's all. And then, like we said, the Aces are on an 8-game winning streak. Aja, oh, this is a good one. Aja, if I'm not mistaken, she's averaging less than 20 points
Hmm.
the last 2 seasons against the Liberty frontcourt. Does that surprise you a little bit?
Not too much because the Liberty is such a big team, like, they're really
Yeah,
long, like
length.
and they play really great defense, so, like, I think when it does come down to the Liberty, like, I think it's definitely gonna be not really about Asia because Asia's always gonna, like, in some way,
Show up.
shape, or form, like, show up, yeah,
Yeah,
and it's really just gonna be, like, can, like, the other 3 guards are they gonna be there? Can they lock in? It's really gonna be that, and also, hopefully they don't get beat on the boards because the boards have really been, like, a tough thing for the Aces this year as well as
and
their,
second
like,
chances,
defense.
right?
Yeah, so I'm interested to see that today.
Definitely. That's another. I got another stat. Like we got a lot of stats. the best defensive ratings versus Las Vegas in the regular season. I think New York got they got a 92.8 defensive rating against Las Vegas Aces, best in the league. What else? What else? Oh, maybe we can talk before we go into the next series. Hopefully, I don't want to take advantage of your time. So, what are some X factors for this series? Maybe we can say Stokes. Maybe we can say maybe Phoenix or Laney Hamilton. I don't know. Maybe Clark, like you were saying. For the Aces, who else? Maybe. But let me. Who do you think can be an X factor in this series?
I definitely think Phoebish for sure. And Laney Hamilton's defense, like she's great offensively, but also at the same time, I think I also like recognize that the Liberty don't necessarily need her to always go out there and like shoot like 10 plus. Like as long as she shows up defensively, they're good. So I think if she can honestly like contribute offensively and Phoebish is shooting well and they honestly like them keeping the pace up is a big thing for them as well. So I think if they're able to do that and like you said, like force those turnovers, those are really going to be like the key players, those two, I think. And as long as like Brianna, Sabrina, and Jonquel do what they do, they're fine. Now for the Aces,
Yeah,
though, those X factors, I do definitely think Jackie definitely has to shoot a little bit higher than she has been this season. Like I think that she
her
may just
offense
be in a
hasn't been
slump.
good, right?
Yeah, it's been a little
Post break.
lackluster, but she's been
Yeah,
picking it up. And I think if as long as she plays well, and I would really like to see like Kia not hesitate on taking some shots. I think if those two are able to kind of like offer up a little bit more offense, there will be no problem for the Aces. So honestly, if I can get both of those things to happen for both of those teams, I think we're in for a really great matchup. It's going to be a great game or a great
yeah,
series.
I agree. I agree. Hopefully, it goes 5. We don't need another sweep. But I got another stat right here. Kia Stokes, number 41 for the Aces. Over the past 4 postseasons, opponents are shooting 29% when Stokes contest from 3-point range. Wow, and 38% overall. For a big, she's also a good passer. Teammates are shooting 53% of her passes over the past 4 postseasons. Wow. And this is thanks to ESPN Women, ESPNW. Then we got here Fivic, like you were saying. Fivic's experience from overseas showed in the first round. She went 10 for 12, shooting 9 from 11 off passes. Her ability to spread the floor in the half court is incredibly important for New York. Ball's movement and going 6 for 7 on threes in first round, in round one. So I don't think the moment's gonna be huge for her. Obviously, she's a rookie. It's her first time playing in the WNBA, but it's gonna be a great matchup. Now the spicy part of the preview. What's your prediction? First of all, do you like doing predictions?
I don't mind it. I think it's fun.
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
never
yeah. I
like
agree. I
actually
agree.
like bet or anything because that would be bad.
Facts, facts. I don't like betting too. I don't like
But
betting too.
I do like thinking like maybe okay, well, who do I think is gonna win? I think definitely I'm going with the Aces. I have to stand behind my team. I have to stand behind them. They have to
In
stand up
in in
behind.
how many games?
I'm gonna go in 4.
Oh yeah, I was gonna tell you, please don't pick 5. It can be another heartbroken moment at the Barclays. I'm
I
not
would
a Liberty
feel
fan.
really bad for them.
I like Sabrina. I like Phoenix. I like Benija, but I'm not a Liberty fan. But yeah. If it is in 4, I would take it. I would take it. Please don't
I
be don't
definitely
be in
think
5.
though, before we move on, I think the pressure is definitely on the Liberty to win this though. Like
Yeah,
it the Aces, like it's like okay, we beat you last year. Like it would be like their three-peat is on the line, yes, but like the Liberty, it really is championship. Like you guys have like these are your best chances. Like if you guys don't get a chip this year, I really don't know like how you even improve anything.
I agree. I got the Liberty in 4, but that before we get into the other series, that was one of the questions that I got on my mind. It's like how much of an mental advantage, if we can call it that, had the Aces over the Liberty.
I think it's tough to say
Is
just because
is
while the
big brother little
Liberty,
brother, or is not like that anymore?
I
And
don't
now
know
it's
if it's
like,
like that anymore because it is like they beat them like in every single game this season, but
yeah,
also it's still like, okay, well, we beat you and got that championship though. Cause like it's technically like kind of
yeah,
like
it's different. It's different. It's
Jimmy
different.
Butler when he's like, "Oh, the regular season doesn't matter. It's about what happens after." So I think the Aces kind of have like at least like a 60% advantage. This is giving 60
Yeah,
40
I
right now.
agree. I agree. I agree. I agree. So let's get into the next series. En este caso, I mean, in this case, is the Connecticut Sun going against the Minnesota Lynx. The Lynx against the Sun. I got, oh, this is like we were saying in New York and Las Vegas. That's a firepower all over the place. In this case, is defense, 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 defense all over the place. I think Minnesota is number 4 on offense, number 2 on defense. Connecticut number 5 on offense, number 1 on defense. The same question. What first comes to your mind when we start thinking about this series? This series.
It to me, it's the first thing that comes to mind is low scoring. That's
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I agree. That's a great point. It's gonna be low scoring games. I agree, and a lot of defense. Can do you envision like a cheapy, chirpy, type of series?
I do just because of like the previous matchups. Like it's kind of
Oh,
like I think early on in the season it got a little chirpy between them, and then the last game they played against them, Bridget Carlton and hit the three like at the end of the
at the
game.
buzzer,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So
Yeah,
I think it's definitely going to be heightened emotions. I think the experience for the Sun though, I think is definitely going to be like the thing that helps them, but I really think that the Lynx have I think they're on to something. Something feels very special about this team this year.
I agree. I agree completely. It's gonna be defense against defense, but the first thing that comes to my mind is Harris for the Connecticut Sun. She got injured. We don't know if she's gonna play. So that's not a maybe not a huge or one of the main players, but I think they started Marina Mabry in game 2 against the Fever, but that's the first thing that got to my mind. Harris being injured, they're one body. They got less. They got one body less, to go against the Minnesota Lynx. And I was about to forget about this. I think the Connecticut Sun is the only team that the Minnesota Lynx couldn't beat, right? I mean, couldn't have a winning record
I
during this
believe
season.
so. Yeah. It was really tough
Yeah,
this season. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like we were saying, Connecticut won 2 out of the 3 games during the regular season, and I got the best WNBA defensive rating since 2016. Number 3, Connecticut Sun, 94.1, and number 5, 2024 Minnesota Lynx, 94.8. So we are gonna have like you were saying, not a lot of high scoring games. We got two of the top 5 defenses since 2016. Who else do I got here? Nafisa Collier. During these 3 games against Connecticut, she shot 58% from the field. I was going crazy. I really like players. My favorite player in the NBA is Jokic. And one of the many things that I really like about him, about his game, is the fact that he can set proper screens, really good screens. The same with
Mhm.
Nafisa Collier. She can set screens. She can shoot the three. She can do everything on the court. And but does that surprise you that she shot 58%? She shot her burst. She shot her best percentages against any team versus the Connecticut Sun. Do you think that trend can continue in the playoffs?
I think it can continue, especially with what she has going on right now with the 70% the other day. I think it's really just like you said before, like it's really just gonna come down to ball movement, and like I know that they're gonna throw like everything they have at Nafisa, so I think it's really just gonna be about everybody else. But the Lynx bench and like even their other starters are so great, so I feel like anything that they stop or they can try to contain Nafisa at the beginning, but like there's always gonna be somebody else or something else that I think is gonna like come through. So it's like it could be Bridget Carlton shooting well, it could be Kayla McBride shooting well, it could be Courtney Williams shooting well, it could be Maisha Hines Allen coming off the bench and shooting well, it could be Alana Smith like shooting well on the post and shooting the three, like, and then now you have like, okay, well, we can't just focus all our attention on Nafisa. Now we have to go and guard the perimeter or something. And then it's okay, well, Nafisa's open now. Like now she's gonna be capable of getting the shot or getting the foul. So I think it's gonna be I'm interested to see what happens here, because for the Sun, I think to me like Marina is definitely like, okay, she gives you offense, and Dejanay Carrington can give you offense, yes, but I think I'm interested to see how the pace of the game and the flow of it goes as well, because I know like the Sun get a lot of foul calls and everything, so I'm interested to see what happens here, who gets in foul trouble, how that plays a role, all of the
Oh,
things.
that's a great point. That's a great point. And the fact that you mentioned that who's gonna get to the free throw line, who's gonna get fouls and all that. I think Connecticut was the team that got the most to the free throw line during the regular season. So that's gonna be important. Going back to the previous series against the Fever, some people were saying, "Oh, why the Fever got not only 9 free throws and the Connecticut Sun got 20?" I got so for the people that don't know, Connecticut Sun was a way more physical team than the Indiana Fever, and they got consistently throughout the regular season more to the free throw line than the Indiana Fever. So but that's another topic. So we gotta watch that. I think that can continue. Obviously, them getting into the free throw line. I got some stats here as well. Alana Smith, she shot 13 for 20 this season against the Connecticut Sun. Wow. So hopefully that can continue. The Minnesota Lynx, they got the best 3-point percentage in the regular season. And that's something that I wanted to put emphasis on. The fact that obviously these are like points of references that this does the fact that the Minnesota Lynx or any other team in any other stat or category led the NBA or were the best during the regular season, that doesn't mean that it's gonna magically translate and it's gonna be even the same or better in the playoffs. I needed to make that point.
Mhm.
Like I was saying, Suns most free throw made and free throw attempted this regular season. The Minnesota Lynx most assists this regular season. All 4 teams, I forgot to mention that all 4 teams that are in the semifinals, I think were top 5 in less personal fouls. I mean, the Aces, the Lynx, the Sun, and the Liberty and the Storm were the teams that committed the less fouls, the less personal fouls this regular season. That tells us something, right? That they can play defense without doing a lot of fouls, right? Committing a lot of
Mhm.
fouls. Then New York Lynx. Oh, I think the Lynx were top 2 in opponent field goal percentage and top 2 in opponent three-point percentage. So they play. I think. Do you agree that the Minnesota Lynx got the best defensive rotation in the WNBA or in these playoffs? Because they are on another level.
Absolutely, I will say yes on that. I
That's
will.
crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to interrupt, but that's another thing that maybe makes a difference between a casual fan and something that is watching and trying, to focus on different things. Because for the casual fan, for the majority of the casual fans, they're not gonna be talking about defensive rotations. That's not cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I agree. So hopefully they can continue, and we gotta give credit obviously to Sharia Reef. Lynx number 1 in field goal, if I'm not mistaken. Fifth. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Minnesota Lynx were the best team shooting from 15 to 19 feet, and were the best team as well during the regular season shooting from 20 to 24 feet. So it's gonna be a great, great matchup. Now let's go to the X factors. Who you got like X factors in this series?
I think X Factors, wow.
I can
I'm
give you a
gonna
few. Olivia Nelson Odora,
Oh yeah,
maybe
she's
coming off
great.
the
I love
bench,
her. I love
and
her.
and Natisha Heidman, I don't know. I really like her. She plays defense. She's tough coming off the bench. Natisha.
I like her as well. I think also I like that because the way like their team plays, like it's so like system based and like ball movement and all the stuff, and really just like yes, passing the ball, but also you can kind of tell that like it's kind of like a little bit run through Nafisa. But what I like
Yup.
about Natisha is that she can kind of come in and like play ISO. Like she's not like, and I like that she can come in and kind of give that versatility to the offense.
Yeah, she can get to the rim.
Mhm.
I really like her as an X factor. As you were saying, if they try to focus too much on Nafisa Golier, maybe Alana Smith, the shooters are going to be open. So that's going to be huge. And obviously, the Connecticut Sun with Olivia Nelson Odora, she played great in game 2 against the Fever. I need to ask you this. This is my last question. How much Brianna Jones will play in this series? Because she didn't play much in game 2. The pace was maybe a little bit higher for her. What do you think about this question? How much Brianna Jones will play in this series?
That's a really great question. I don't even think I noticed that she wasn't playing, but now that you mention it, like she definitely wasn't playing as much in game 2.
And she's coming
Um
back from an injury, right?
I
Last
think
year,
she had I
it was
think
an
so.
Achilles.
Something with her shoulder or something? Maybe. I don't
Maybe,
know.
yeah. I thought it was an Achilles, but I don't know. I don't know.
Oh yeah. That was her injury at the
Oh,
beginning of the season, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I think it really just depends on the matchup because if Nafisa's in there and Alana Smith is next to her, then yeah, it makes sense to me like to have Olivia Nelson Ododa in there because I think that she can go like that's a good matchup. But if Maisha Hines Allen is in the game next to Fee, I think that Brianna Jones would probably be a better matchup. I think Stephanie's probably going to play it by ear. I think she's definitely starting. But
Yeah,
I will be interested and I will be paying attention to that because I don't think I really paid attention like during the Fever game, but I'm gonna lock in on that.
I agree. I got a few facts before we go. From Olivia Nelson Odora. The Sun were a plus 33 with Nelson Odora on the floor versus Indiana thanks to her defense. The Fever shot The Fever shot just one for 15 when she contested the shot. Going back to last postseason, opponents are shooting 26% when she contests. Damn, 26%. Natisha Hitman. Over the last 4 postseasons, teammates shot 65% of Hitman passes, second only to Sue Bird. Defensively, she's holding opponents to 41% as the contesting defender over the last 4 postseasons. So we got this great series. Obviously, Lynx and Sun and Las Vegas going against Liberty. Predictions: Who you got? Who you got? I don't think. I think we're gonna go with the same team. I
I'm
got the
going
Lynx.
Minnesota Lynx.
It's Lynx all day Lynx. I'm not gonna say in a sweep. That would be very surprising, right? Maybe.
It would be, I think. I don't
And
so I'm going no sweep. I'm gonna go in 4 again.
I'm going 5. I think it's going 5.
Okay,
I'm going
5.
5.
Okay,
Oh,
5. You know
I
what? I low key agree with you. 5. I
yeah,
Let's go
yeah.
5. 5.
It's gonna be a great matchup, and I was saying prepping for this episode. I was listening to a Dunker Spot podcast, and Nekias Duncan and Jones, the other guy, I don't remember his name. They both picked the Connecticut Sun. Obviously, like you were saying, that's not something outlandish because they got experience. They got Alyssa Thomas, an MVP candidate. They got Dewana Bonner. I think Bonner, she's like fourth all time in points scored in the playoffs. So Marina Mabry, Dejonae Carrington, they got Stephanie White, the whole crew. But it a little bit surprised me that they both picked the Connecticut Sun over the Minnesota Lynx.
I'm excited to see it. It's gonna be a good matchup.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. So the Liberty and Aces is gonna be starting in 1 hour and a half, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't want to take advantage of your time. So once again, thanks to you, Tori, for being here with us. We got today in our episode with me was Tori Phillips from Girls Who Like Hoops. So go check her podcast. Great, 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 great content. So I appreciate you coming here. This is your second time on the podcast. So once again, thanks for being here, and it's much appreciated.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
It was a pleasure. So maybe in maybe for the finals we can do something. So hopefully we can collab in the near future. I really really appreciate this time with you, and I always learn something when I talk to you and we do these live streams.
For sure. Thank you so much for having me. I enjoy talking to you. It's really great. Thank you so much for having me and sharing your platform.
It's the same here, same here. So that was it, the latest episode of the MOP podcast. Until next time, everybody, take care. And me and Tori knocked that shit out of the park. So this was a great, great podcast. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to her channel as well. So until next time, everybody, bye. I'm out. And that was a great show. That was a great show.
Bye. Thank you.